Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today I am starting out on 14th Street. Actually, I'm at an intersection that is quite near and dear to me. I'm standing at 14th and Washington, and this makes me feel so old, but 20 years ago, I spent many a late night over here because there used to be a club over here that I used to go to called Mother, and it was Goth Vampire. It was amazing. It was amazing, and it's so weird being here because it's now like designer stores. The irony is thick, but that's not what we're here for today. We are here because one of the entrances to the HIGHLINE is right here, and we're gonna go for a walk. We're gonna go for a walk on the HIGHLINE. So let's do it. It's a gorgeous day for it. Why not? There are multiple ways of entering the HIGHLINE along the route, but this is where I'm gonna enter. Along the route, there are some elevator access. I will check where the elevator access points are, and I will put them up so that everyone is aware. But once you are up on the HIGHLINE, oh, the views are gorgeous. So the HIGHLINE runs down the west side, and basically it's a park. It is a park that was made from converted railroad tracks. Yes. So way back in the day, this was a way of transport for goods, I believe. I don't think it was passenger transport. I think it was goods. And now it has been repurposed. So the HIGHLINE actually starts a little bit further down at Davenport, but we actually hopped on at 14th Street. So we're doing most of the HIGHLINE. And you can see it goes all the way up to 34th. Well, 31st. It kind of blends into Hudson Yards, but I'll show you. Also, if you're on the HIGHLINE in this area, you could see Little Island. So that area over there that kind of has all these pedestals out in the Hudson River over there, that is Little Island, which is another park that was opened in the past couple of years. It's one of the newer green spaces in New York. During the warmer months, this is all blooming. Like, you could see all these plants over here. Like, they're like butterfly flowers and all sorts of I was gonna say flora and fauna, but it's flora. Flora will be there. But we are here during the winter months, but it is still a great place to walk around, even off season. So I had mentioned before that this was converted train tracks, and they left remnants of it intentionally. So you could see here is some of the rail lines and the wood slats. Yep, trains definitely went through here at one point. There are a few things about the HIGHLINE that I personally find both very interesting and enjoyable. The first is the way that it utilizes the local architecture. So like right now, right, we're actually going through a building, right? And it's designed that way. It's designed to not interfere with what was already existing. It's designed to sort of incorporate that. The other thing that I love is the art. There are several art displays on the HIGHLINE. So as we're walking along looking for some of the art, also look at the architecture. New York has brilliant architecture, and walking the HIGHLINE, it really showcases a lot of it. It's like, no, that is not weird perspective. That building actually looks like it has a twist to it. And then those windows, they do almost look like eggs or glasses. And then we have the edge right in front of us. Another thing that's pretty cool about this area is they have it set up almost like a theater, and New York is the show. Let me show you what I mean. So there is this area with seating, and as we keep walking down, we're gonna go up to these windows. So you can have yourself a seat on one of these benches and just watch New York pass you by. It's kind of cool. Kind of nifty if you ask me. This is the area right at 17th Street, and you're just watching 10th Avenue drive by. And it's such a busy area too, and it's just amazing to just sort of sit here, and there's also murals, so you get to see the art, and It's a great place for just taking a moment. So you could also see in the corner there's a mural, people riding horses and like dogs and bunnies. And then across the street, there's this other mural on the Chelsea Square Market of Gandhi and Mother Teresa. I truly love the massive amount of art on public display there is in New York. I think that's one of my favorite things about living in the city. So I am on the move again, and HIGHLINE is going in between these sort of like egg or glass-shaped architecture of buildings. I don't know if I would want to reside right here, because then you have no privacy. Like this room right here, they have their TV on. I can see that they are watching TV right now. I don't know that I'd want that. Like, I mean, I get it, prime location and all, great view, but there's a great view the other way too. Yeah. So this might just be like my goth heart, but like even in the off season, like the remnants of the flora, like I find this fascinatingly beautiful. I love this. I love that like right here is a wee little spot of purple in all of this brown. I love that there's all this texture and it's sleeping. It's in a period of hibernation. I love that these are all feathery and fluffy. I love that they look like flowers even though they are crispy and, dry. I love all this. And that's not to say I don't love it when it's like fully in bloom also, but there is something in the off season that makes it differently magical. Differently magical is what I would say. Lots of textures, lots of flavors, lots of notes, lots of feelings that you wouldn't necessarily see if it's fully in bloom, because then you're all distracted by the colors and the petals and everything else, but you get to see the plant for who it truly is in the off season. Here we have some more of these train tracks with all of these plants growing through it, and I absolutely love that juxtaposition of this sort of like life carrying on even though this was abandoned like human-made thing, and then nature is reclaiming it and taking it over. I absolutely love that. And I did mention before that there is art up here. This is one of the art installations. Let's see, there's a sign here, so we're gonna learn more about it. This is called Teresa Solar Abound, Birth of Islands. And it was made in 2024. It was made just this year, and it will be on display through July of 25. So just as a note, Teresa Solar Abound is the artist, and the art piece is named Birth of Islands. So it's interesting because in reading the description about this piece of art, the thought process behind it was actually very similar to what I was just discussing, which is sort of this life blooming out from the urban, right? So it's like we have like the cement block that it's blooming out of, but then it's like these petals that are similar to like a flower petal, but it's rooted in the urban, it's rooted in the city and the concrete, but yet it still thrives and is colorful and vibrant, and that fight between urban and nature. It's interesting, even though I'm here in the winter, like we're having an unseasonably warm day the day that I'm here, I feel like it's more crowded today than it is when I've come like during warm seasons. Interesting. I think we're all trying to just enjoy this unseasonably gorgeous day today. So I pulled to the side because there's another mural over here, which looks like two people, but they have roots. They're growing like trees. So this is, again, like humanity coming out of nature. It's so fascinating, and it's a recurring theme here. Oh, it also has bats. I didn't see the bats from afar. Oh, I love bats. I just was walking by and noticed one of the elevators. So we're at 10th Avenue and 23rd Street. There is elevator access up here. We're continuing to walk along. The edge is getting closer and closer, and that's sort of where the High Line ends when we get there. So we're making progress. We're making our way through. And there's more art. There's more art. This is a really, really fascinating piece. I'm sort of taking it in. It's got like these faces, but they're nondescript. They don't have a lot of detail to them, but yet they are definitely emoting. They don't, right? Like those don't look like happy faces per se, just kind of neutral, right? I'm not quite sure what to make out of it, but they're all growing on nature things. Like this is on like a big piece of like almost like driftwood. And then it's on like, there's a femur, there's a big bone, but that bone also down here looks like a branch. And then here's another branch, and some of them are silver like the masks, but some of them are wood like nature. It's so fascinating, this sort of like juxtaposition of humanity and nature again. You have the bones and the trees and the wood all sort of like intermingling with each other. But the thing that's different about this one is that there are also animals in the mix. So at the end over here, there's like a sculpted dog's head. And then if we go down this way more in the back and on the ends, there's also these sculpted dog's heads. And this one over here, it's like a dog and a human kind of cuddling a little bit. And then at the end here is another dog head. But also with these dogs, they're like on human-esque kind of tree forms, because this almost looks like arms reaching out for a hug, right? Like, look at this. It's got these branches that are outstretched, almost like it's asking for a hug. There's so much going on here. There's so much going on in this sculpture. I feel like I could spend literally hours analyzing it and trying to like understand the depth and the detail of it, because there's a lot going on here. And just so everyone knows, this piece of art was made by Julia Sensi, and it was called Secondary Forest. I apologize if I mispronounce the name. I never heard it spoken out loud, so I'm just trying to sound it out phonetically. There's another one of these spots in a different area closer to the 30s. I'm not sure the exact street, where it's like the city as art and theater again. So it's definitely smaller than the other one, but there's, you know, a little place to sit, and you could just sort of watch the world go by. Definitely could watch the world go by. There's another building over here with some unique architecture. It's almost like sideways chevrons by the windows making it up. And it's got some balconies on the edges and then at the curves. Definitely unique architecture. I think that's one thing about New York that you can't necessarily tell from afar, but when you get here, like the architecture is so different, building to building, neighborhood to neighborhood. There's like the historic architecture, then there's the modern architecture, and some of the modern one, they took a lot of creative license and they're doing all sorts of cool stuff. But then the historic ones, they also have creative license because they have all the sculpted elements to them too, right? Differently creative architecture. And as we come towards the end of the High Line, we have this one last mural with all these hearts just sort of like butterflying up into the air, all different colors and styles. Excellent. And I am approaching the end of the High Line, and it lets us out right here in Hudson Yards. The High Line is ending right over here, and you could see the vessel peeking out behind the shed, and we have reached the end. So I hope you enjoyed coming for a walk with me down the High Line. It starts down in the Meatpacking District and ends here at Hudson Yards, which is like 33rd Street. And it's all on the west side. It's all elevated, so you get great views. You get to see the Hudson River on one side, some great architecture, and it's just a great place to spend some time. There's a lot of benches and seating along the way, so if you get tired, you need a break, there's plenty of places to grab a seat. So, I guess with that, I am done for the day. I will see you all real soon, and until then, stay inspired. Bye, everyone. Take care.